Hello, ladies and gentlemen, you wonderful, wonderful people. J.R. Chunks 21 here. And, college is getting a little bit extreme for me. I have a buttload of classes. Mondays and Wednesdays, I literally go from one class to another for all of my lunch. I have no time to sit down and eat lunch. Which actually became a problem today, but we'll go. Oh, don't want to discuss that right now. Anyways, so, some of you guys, most of my subscribers and followers are probably all well into college or have graduated college. But for those of you, parents, or students, high schoolers that are getting into college, that are going to be going to college soon, I thought I'd give you some tips from a person who's been on a college campus for several years now. Some advice. So let's start off with the little disclaimer. I do not go to a major university. If you're going to like Purdue or North Carolina or whatever, my advice probably won't help you because they're totally different than what I'm doing. I'm in a community college. We're too poor for big people college. Anyways, so let's start off with some simple advice. If your class starts at, let's say mine starts at 10, I do recommend you get on campus a little bit beforehand. Usually teachers will put signs on the door of the class to say you're canceled if they forgot to email you. It's always nice to have more time than late. I do recommend getting to your class a little bit early on your first day and sitting away from where people are. Most of the teachers don't do like assigned seating. They'll let you move seats quite frequently. I did in most of my classes. This semester is a little bit different. I do have two teachers that go off of where we sit for attendance, and I'm fine with that. I picked a good spot for me. I like where I'm sitting. Now mine is more paranoia for why I sit where I am. 3 to 4 years of being a police explorer, I was taught, you don't want to be near the door. You want your back to a wall so no one can come up behind you. And that's what I do in all of my classes. I sit at the very back of the room with the hard concrete walls behind me. It's up to you. I also like to sit back there because for some reason, even though in high school, in my experience, everyone that was loud and obnoxious sat at the back of the class, and everyone that was quiet and wanted to learn sat at the front. In college, it seems to be the direct opposite. Everyone that's loud and wants to learn and wants to be annoying as hell sits up at the front, and all of us that want to learn and have peace and quiet sit in the back, and that's where I sit. I sit in the back, I do all my work, and the old expression, you get more bees or flies with honey than vinegar, is very true. If you treat your teachers with respect a lot of the time, and you're really nice to them, a lot of the time they will be quite nice to you. So that's advice number one. Find a good place to sit. Show up a little early. Show initiative. Doesn't matter what you wear most of the time. But don't wear something stupid. Don't wear "fuck school" T-shirts, because that's just gonna make your teacher think ill of you. And sometimes you want them on your side. So recommend wear something nice, but not don't show up in a three-piece suit. These 2 weeks, which are my first 2 weeks in school, all I've worn is blue jeans and t-shirts. Another thing is, your teachers are probably going to be a little bit like mine, where they don't want you to have your phone out. Don't be a dick. Now, I do take my phone off of the clip that goes on my belt occasionally for, I get a text message or I get a call. I'll look at it and see if it's something worth my time. If it's not, I put it back on the clip and I go back to doing what I'm doing. Always respect some of the rules. Don't piss your teachers off. These aren't high school teachers. They do have to pass a certain amount of you and fail a certain amount, and you don't want to be one of the ones they fail because you piss them off. So I do recommend you treat them with respect, because if you don't, it's just going to end badly. Anyways, next up, always plan for your classes. Don't if it's your first year there, don't swamp yourself with class back to back to back to back. I never recommend doing that. Always try to give yourself a little bit of time between classes so you can eat or do your work. Because if you go and decide, okay, I want to make it so I only have, for instance, for me, I have 10 minutes to get from one class to another on Mondays and Wednesdays. I don't recommend you do that. It can be very taxing and very tiring. Next piece of advice for you guys. Always ask your teacher, if you're having issues before the due date, send them an email, if they give you their number, give them a text message, whatever, say, hey, I'm a little far behind, I'm having some minor issues. Don't lie to them, because they will find out. I learned that the hard way. Be honest with them, tell them why you're having the issue, and they might just give you a little bit of extra time without counting the late fee, the late points. So, a lot of this comes down to common sense. Be respectful, show up early, do X, Y, and Z. The big thing that I always recommend people do when they're starting college is go to, for my college, they told us to go to Rate My Professor. You can look at all your teachers and see how other students have graded them. What I recommend you do is go on there and find the teachers, then go in there with a list of who you think you want. I say think because you won't always get them. If you're registering late, a lot of the good ones that are laid back and relaxed are going to be taken. You're not going to get them. Because other students are going to realize these guys are fun and they're not assholes. I want them and I'm going to fill up all their classes. And you're going to be stuck with one of the strict older teachers. Now, what I've learned through probably going to be 4 years of my college experience is that just because a teacher's rating is low and it says this teacher is strict, she's a B word, pro tip, at least go the first day and see if it's true. For instance, my English 111 teacher's rating on Rate My Professor is really abysmal. And I was worried I was going to get the bitch from hell. She is the nicest teacher I've had so far. I've had 3 English teachers at this college, and the one that I didn't like was the biggest bitch. Both her and my developmental reading class, because in high school I didn't take the right math. You have to have 4 maths, and I didn't take the 4th one, so I had to take developmental classes. I very quickly realized, it's not bad. Developmental classes in college are a lot of fun because they're just reteaching you stuff you learned in high school. And they're usually smaller class sizes, so the teacher can actually help you one-on-one. And it's always nice. So, another piece of advice is whatever website you use, Rate My Professor is the one I use, and I think it goes for any college in the U.S. Don't put too much into that rating, because that could be, a lot of those ratings could be from students who failed their course, and just want to bring their ratings down. Go to class, check it out, see if it's true. But you can always find a list of who you want, go in to register, and then tell whoever's helping you register, I want this specific person. I actually had this discussion with one of my former explorers. He's new to college, he didn't realize he could actually pick who his professor was. And I pointed out, I'm like, yeah, you can pick who your professor is, it's really nice. The benefit of picking your professor is if you want a laid-back professor, I found in my experience a lot of the laid-back professors have a stricter grading scale and they're less likely to budge. They'll budge other places. They won't budge on the grading scale. Compared to my strict English teacher whose grading scale is the simplest thing ever. It's really easy to figure out, okay, she's strict, like she doesn't want talking or phones out once class starts, but her grading scale is going to be the easiest thing to fucking pass. And that's a good thing. Because you're not trying to get away with shit in this class. You're not in college to text your friend a picture of your dick while you're in class. You're in college to get that degree and not have to sell your kidneys on the black market. Speaking of which, if anyone wants a kidney, hit me up. Nah, I'm just fucking with you guys. You guys wouldn't want my kidneys anyways. I've been drinking Mountain Dew my whole life, so they're probably half dead. Anyways, most of this advice I give you, if you talk to anyone who's been on your campus long enough, they will give you the same advice. I do recommend, if you had the shitty teachers I did in high school, where one of my teachers said, oh yeah, once your teacher gets paid, as long as you turn in your work, they don't give a shit. Don't listen to them. It's not true. You might have one or two professors. In my 3 years at college, this is my first time having a teacher that didn't care if I showed up to class. As long as I signed the roster, he didn't care. He doesn't care. Every other teacher has said, I either show up or I fail. I don't care if you turn in everything and you're getting all hundreds. Because the school gets audited by the government, and if they're audited, and it's found out that the student isn't doing what they're supposed to, the school can get in a lot of trouble. So a lot of teachers I've had have said, no, you don't just get to sign the roster and leave. You sit in that chair. And if you leave early, you're done. It counts as you taking an absence. So I do recommend you sit in your class. And actually, a lot of classes, depending on what your degree major is really fun. For me, my criminal justice classes, everyone in the criminal justice department at my school is crazy as shit. All of them. They are freaking crazy. So I do recommend find something you like. If you are undecided on what your major is, go ahead and take all of your general ed classes. Get those out of the way, because they are the most boring ass classes you will ever take. I mean, they really are. Trust me. I took a lot of my criminal justice courses, and now I have like 8 left that I have to take. And I still have so many general ed classes. I have my math, one more math class, psychology and sociology, which won't be boring for me because I do love psychology and sociology. I have a humane arts class, apparently, which I have to take to graduate. So, I mean, trust me, guys, take all your gen ed classes now while you can. If you're undecided. If you have decided, mix some of your degree classes in so it's entertaining. That's always what I do. I always have at least 1 or 2 degree classes for my major in with my main classes. Another thing that is incredibly important for you guys to remember is a lot of colleges have, in just my area, make you take public speaking no matter what your degree is. If you're afraid of doing public speaking, kind of do this. Go ahead and make like a really stupid YouTube channel and do it like this. This is really easy to get used to public speaking. Now, I had experience with public speaking before, so I'm not really that affected by it. But I do recommend it. Of course, always meet with your professors before you do anything. It's always important to talk to them and discuss with them what you want to do. Always talk to your professor. Say, okay, I want to do this, or I want to do that for the class. The easiest example I can have is I had ethics class for my criminal justice degree. It was last year, actually. And ethics teacher, I went in. My partner for all of our projects had already shown to me that she wasn't showing up as much in class, and that I probably was going to be doing the final project, which was worth a lot of our grade, on my own. I went to the ethics teacher. I'm like, hey, what do we do if she doesn't show up? She's like, I've been teaching this class for 10 years. Never has a final project partner never shown up. Well, guess what happened? My partner didn't show up. And in my opinion, my project was shit because I had to do all of it on my own at the last minute, the whole PowerPoint presentation, and I had no one to rehearse with. So when I was doing it, mine was on field sobriety tests. when I was actually doing it, the practical portion of it, I had to find someone in the crowd and try to talk them through this when I had no experience doing it. So, I still passed. I passed the final exam. I got a really good grade on it, even though I don't think I did. And it's only because my partner didn't show up. And she ended up failing. So I do recommend you always meet with your professor about things like that. If you have a bad feeling something's going to happen for projects or whatever, meet with your professor. They're usually going to work with you. Another thing that is incredibly important for you guys to realize, and this is the last point, set something up for when you graduate that you it's something fun that helps you transition away from that. So, for instance, it's been a tradition ever since my middle school days that whenever I graduate, I take all of my old books, all of my old notes that I don't think will be useful in future endeavors, put them in for most of the time, it's usually 2 or 3 big cardboard boxes, tape them up with duct tape, take them out to a gun range and shoot them. This way, I get something fun to do with all of that crap, because by the time I take it to go resell it, it's not worth even a tenth of what I'm trying to make out of it. And that's what I'm going to do with all of my school stuff for this year. Is I've got all of it already piled up. I've got like 6 boxes full. So I'm going to have to take a big gun out and shoot it. And I'm probably going to record that for you guys, because I figure you guys will probably like to see that little video. Anyways, that is my advice. Find something fun to do with all of your old school crap. It doesn't have to be shooting it. You can burn it, throw it in the shredder, do something with it. Don't just let it pile up and let you remember any bad or good times of college. That's how I transition from school. If I look at something from the past, I'm remembering, those were good times. I look at it now, and it's gone. I don't have to worry about that, and I don't want to go back to those days. I want to keep going forward. And that's the key to college success. Don't let anyone tell you, the key to college success is being able to write a 10-page paper. Don't let anyone tell you the key to college is XYZ. It is ultimately just being able to wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm going to go to class today, and that's one more day. That's one less day I have to do later. And that's an important thing to do, is to say to yourself, if I go today, it's one less day I have to do later. And that's important. Because ultimately, you're going to get beat down in college. I don't care how good you are at school. There's going to be a time when you look down at the work and you're at the workload and at the expense and everything and say, I just want to quit. I've done that numerous times, and every time I think to myself, I can't quit. I'm never going to get a job in my career field if I quit now. So I do recommend you guys go out, find something fun to do at the end of when you graduate. I don't recommend doing it at the end of the semester, because some of your stuff that you might destroy might be useful. So that is what I recommend. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like down below. Comment what you guys do to motivate yourselves to go to school. I will continue to do these vlogs, mostly because I don't have to edit them and do as polishing content, which is very time consuming, believe it or not. College takes up enough time as it is. So thank you guys very much for watching this. And leave a comment down below alongside what you do to motivate yourself to get out of bed. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys want me to discuss next. I'm up for anything. See you guys next time.